Hello, fifth grade. We are moving on to a few more countries in the Western Europe area and 14.5 pages 255 through 260. Now, the area that we're going to talk about now is called Scandinavia. Now, Scandinavia actually makes up Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Iceland, and Finland. Okay? This is the home of the Vikings. So this was an area in which the Vikings originated, and it was all of these countries in that area that make up the Scandinavia area, which is all the Scandinavians. And give me one second, going back. Their language was based on in that area as a Scandinavian language in the home of all of these countries. Okay, now these countries are welfare state countries, and what that means is that the government actually takes care of their jobs, their medical care, their child care, their services, and it's all provided by the government, kind of similar to like socialism. Now remember back when we talked about that, when AJ had that great idea about giving everybody free education for college, right? We talked a little bit about how that might work, okay? So we know that England also was a welfare state at one point, and it didn't work. What ends up happening with that is, remember how we talked about it could breed a little bit of laziness, right? Because everything's being provided for you. And so this area is not a wealthy area, okay? So they are welfare states. Now, their main religion is Lutheranism. So if you've ever seen a Lutheran church, okay, that is because a lot of the Scandinavian people fled from these countries and came to America and started Lutheran churches, okay? So now we have a few of the countries we're going to talk about that is in Scandinavia, in the Scandinavia area. And the first one is Norway. Norway has the capital city of Oslo, okay? And it is far north on the Arctic Circle. Oh, excuse me. A lot of these areas are far north in Europe area, okay? And it is called the Land of the Midnight Sun. And the reason it's called the Land of the Midnight Sun is because the sun shines for 24 hours a day from mid-May through July. Now, I don't know about you, but that would be kind of cool. But it is hard on your body too. I do know that. And that happens a lot in like Alaska too. In those higher regions, we end up getting more sun based on the tilt of the earth going around, okay? And so in those areas, you get 24 hours a day sun. Now, we all might think that might be great. I mean, believe me, during the summertime is the best time to have those long hours. That way you can go and enjoy your sunshine, right? However, you do need that sleep and you do need that nighttime. Your body kind of gets used to that. But up in that area, it is 24 hours a day. So they call it the Land of the Midnight Sun. Pretty cool, right? Now, Norway does have a lot of seacoast, and they have what they called fjords, okay? Now, these are long, narrow inlets of the sea with high, rocky banks, okay? So they have a lot of coastline, but it's not beautiful beach coastline. It's really rocky banks, okay? And they are a constitutional monarchy government, okay? Over on to Sweden. Sweden has the capital city of Stockholm. Sweden is called the Venice of the North. Now remember, Venice is made up of a lot of different little islands all put together by bridges, and they use boats, motorboats, and gondolas going through that. Well, Sweden is covered about 1/10 of the land is covered in lakes, and they do have a lot of cities that are built with the water as part of their city, so they call it the Venice of the North, okay? They too are a constitutional monarchy. Then we go over here to Denmark, okay? Denmark's capital city is Copenhagen, okay? They are on Bless me, had to sneeze. Sorry, guys. Okay, they are on the Jutland Peninsula, and Denmark is also a constitutional monarchy. There was one very famous writer that came from Denmark, and that is Hans Christian Andersen. And he ended up writing fairy tales like The Ugly Duckling and The Snow Queen. So very popular stories. And the neat part about Denmark is Greenland, which is the world's largest island, actually belongs to Denmark. So Greenland is part of Denmark. Okay. Then we have Iceland. Iceland is the capital city is, oh gosh, that's a hard one. Alexa, pronounce I'm sorry. Alexa, stop. Alexa, pronounce Reyjavik.
I can't do that, but for other ideas you can say.
That was funny.
Alexa,
Okay, let's look. Let me see how I could kind of spell it. I'm hoping I can do it for you. Where did it go? Reykjavik. Okay, I'm going with that. That's close as I can get. Now, Iceland is actually known for its volcanoes, its hot springs, and its steaming geysers that are actually along the glaciers, okay? So we're talking about hot water, okay? We're also talking about volcanic lava, and we're talking about right next to the big glaciers of the Arctic Circle, okay? So that's why it is called the land of fire and ice, okay? Pretty cool. Actually like that name. So Iceland, the land of fire and ice, okay? Then over here we have Finland. Finland has a capital city of Helsinki, and there are a lot of the tundra areas in Finland, which also kind of touch in a little bit of these areas. Now, the tundra areas are the cold areas up by the Arctic Circle, which have the frigid zone area. There's also in the tundra areas, there's marshy-like, swamp-like areas that are like a swamp or a bog. And a lot of times in those areas, not quite in the summertime, but in the colder winter months, they have what they call a permafrost, which is the frozen ground, and that is a lot of time in that area, in the tundra areas. In the tundra areas, regions, they use igloos for housing. And they also do have one area located in that area called Lapland. And the Lapland area is the area that has more of the fishing and farming. And so not as cold, I believe, in that area. And more people tend to go from the native northern Sweden, Norway, and Finland people are there. And those are more of the Arctic people, and they're in that area, and they have a traditional dress of very cold in the winter area, but they do go ahead and try to get some farming and fishing in that area during those months that aren't so frozen. So Finland, you would think it was warmer, that area, but it's really not. It's in that northern part, okay? So we have Scandinavia makes up Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Iceland, and Finland. Please go ahead and get down these notes. It's kind of interesting learning about different parts of the world, parts that maybe we've never even been to or will go to, but we get to have a little glimpse into that. So go ahead and take your notes down for history for today.